Okay guys, welcome to week 7. This week we're going to be working on language abuse and you're going to be working on another critical analysis outline. You have a textbook assignment, which is the language abuse. It's finishing the rest of chapter 6. The first part was about diction and figurative language, and now this is language abuse. You'll see what I did was I gave you a chart with the textbook reading. I would print out that chart, and as I'm reading, I would write down the definitions and the examples, but you're going to use that chart for something a little further lesson that's a little further down, a little assignment. So, but you can use that as you're reading so you don't have to go back and do it. And then you're doing exercises 8 and 9. I set those up as a quiz just so that you could see how you're doing right as you're doing your homework. So you can do the quiz multiple times if you'd like, if you're not getting the correct answers, to see the correct answers. It's not a quiz though, it's just homework. But again, I wanted you to have kind of immediate feedback on whether or not you're understanding which language abuse technique it is, because it can be challenging. With that chart, what you'll do then is you'll take that chart after you have the definitions and the examples. You're going to be listening to one audio clip, looking at some videos, and then looking at a document and filling in examples from those things that you're listening or watching or looking at. So you'll first listen to an audio clip. It tells you its euphemisms. You can write some examples of the euphemisms there. I think you'll find that funny. Then you're going to go to my YouTube playlist. I give you some really specific directions also, and you'll see the directions that are on the bottom of the chart that you'll be using. When you go to my playlist, it usually, when you select play all, it takes you through the videos and it starts you where I want. Like the second video has some foul language, so I start you a little later so you don't have to see that. But there's no way for me to put an end time in, and so I've given you some notes on the bottom of that chart on end times for videos. Make sure you take a look at that as you're watching, because otherwise you're going to watch really long clips, and I don't want you to have to watch that long of clips. But anyway, as you're watching the videos, try to figure out, sometimes they'll tell you what technique is, sometimes they won't. Try to figure out what it is and write some of the examples in that third column of the chart. For the sneer words, I couldn't find a video, so there's a document I'll have you look at. All right. Then, like, a really important thing this week is, again, working on critical analysis. Keeping working on that. That you'll be doing in lab, and you'll also be doing with the Stephen King outline. You're going to be working in a group again to create an outline for critical analysis of Stephen King's piece. This time I've given you the information for the conclusion, so you'll add that to the outline also. I'm going to have you do this in groups this time rather than creating the collaboration document. So when you click on groups, which is on the far left-hand side of Canvas, you'll see your Stephen King group. You can get in there and your group can kind of figure out how you want to do this, how you want to get the information to me. I'm going to suggest using collaborations in your group this time. If you click on collaborations, if you're the first one, you can create a collaboration, which will immediately take you to Google Doc. You could paste the outline format I give you in there, and you guys could work from there. If you do that, do make sure that you go up to share in Google Docs and change the share option so that anybody with a link can edit. Since I'm having you turn this in as an assignment and make your own collaboration, somebody's going to have to turn it in this week. If you use Google Docs, the easiest thing is, as soon as you set up that Google Doc, just to go back to the assignment and click give me the URL, the website address, and save it, because then I've got it, the information's in there, and I can come back at the end of the week and check and see who put what in. Remember, with these groups projects, this is practice and you are only responsible for your part. What I do want you to do this week is put your name after your part, just so I can see which section you do. If somebody in your group isn't working, that's not your problem. I'm looking at your part. This is really getting us ready for the midterm, and so you really want to be working on this as practice. The important thing is really to figure out what Stephen King's main idea is and then connect each technique back to his main idea. How does he use repetition? How does he use diction to prove or to convince the reader that his main idea is true? And even if you don't agree with his main idea, and I'm not sure I do with this piece, kind of don't, he's pretty effective in convincing you and using these techniques to get that across. All right, so that's what that one's for. And then you're also practicing the critical analysis in lab with the piece you started last week, Hoyos Valladares. You're doing the same thing. You're picking some of the techniques he uses, and then you're making sure that you get a good, strong main idea. Really look at that last paragraph for his main idea. Get the main idea correct on this one. It's tricky. And then saying how he uses those techniques for the main idea. Now, what you have for lab this week is you have a lecture, a little Prezi, that I really walk you through the analysis, which means I'm going to kind of grade this lab harder. So really watch my video, go through and make the changes, or if you didn't get a lot of this done last week, make sure you get into your analysis what I'm saying in my video. For the Prezi, it tells you that what's going to happen is when you get to the lab, you've got to wait, kind of hit the play button, and you got to let it load, and then you got to hit play again. So you got to wait. It takes a little patience to get it started, but once it's started, it works really well. Then after you hit play, you'll hear my narration, so you should hear me talking. You should be able to do what you need to in the video, and then once I stop talking, you can advance it to the next one. As always, I'm here. Reach out to me, ask me any questions. I'm kind of shaking things up this week and doing the group work a little bit different because I want to see what works best for Canvas, but I know I also have the time to answer your questions and kind of guide you to places if you're having trouble. Somebody this week sent me a screenshot, which was super helpful for me to see what you guys are seeing because I can't always see exactly what you're seeing in Canvas, which annoys me. So you can always do that also. I hope you have a really great week, and I'll see you online.